So I want to recap and kind of a big recap of the Carolina Panthers training camp from when I was there. That was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And before we get into anything, I want to say had a great time while I was out there. It was a great fun-filled event, but I could swear I'm about 2 to 3 shades darker. The heat, especially on Saturday, it was very hot out there. So I know the guys who were practicing, they felt the heat, but they also brought the intensity. And you see by the title and the thumbnail, I say that the Carolina Panthers training camp was a roller coaster because I truly think it was a roller coaster. I would say on Friday, it was the best offensive day that I saw out of the 3 days which I was there. And then transitioning into Saturday and Sunday, it got kind of rough, and we're going to go through my notes that I have for Sunday's observations. Now, as you're seeing this video, I'm recording this at 2:27 a.m., but when you see this video, it will be Monday. The Panthers are off on practice on Monday, and then they go back Tuesday, then they get into the joint practices. So really, this is a perfect time to kind of have that bigger recap because they don't have any practice today. Now, also got to meet some guys who are out there. Shout out for Panthers fans only. Unnecessary bluntness. Also some Panther fans there. So now I want to get into my notes before I talk about the bigger recap and why I think defense had the edge, especially in this 3-day period. Now, for Sunday's practice, August 6th, the first thing I have, Shaq Thompson took a vet day, but I saw a bumper pool getting those first team reps. He was another guy out of the group who really stayed after practice, getting in some more time. So good to see that from him. And I think that with this linebacker room, it's kind of early to say, but I think Deion Jones, and we all talked about this acquisition, but I think he will be the guy. If, Shaq Thompson is out, if Frankie Louvu is out, or even if Frankie Louvu is off the field, you don't have Jeremy Chin getting into a sub linebacker package. I think Deion Jones will be the guy right there. But good to see it from Bumper Pool. And like I said, on a big-time defensive day, he was out there. He was out there flying around. So good reps from him in this day. Now, another thing that I had, Von Bell. I mean, a Von Bell sighting is something you love to see because on, I believe, Friday and Saturday, walking around looking like a coach. But now coming into this practice Sunday, he was back on the football field with Xavier Woods, had Eric Rowe running back with the second team, but also a pretty solid veteran safety to have. Now, number 3, this is where it kind of gets rough, and that's Bryce Young having a pick on 7-on-7s, and I think it was a messy day. And in this pick, I think you all saw this play by now, especially. It was the C.J. Henderson pick. You see the ball, and then it just falls into C.J. Henderson's hands. The culprit of that throw was Bryce Young. Threw it behind the receiver on a complete miss. And I think that, like I said, it's something we're going to get into further within this video. It was a sloppy day. And I think I can say that for Saturday and Sunday. While Saturday wasn't as bad to me, Sunday, because it takes a lot. Understanding Bryce Young is a rookie, understanding bringing in Thomas Brown, understanding these are new looks, these are new guys. It's a lot that has to work with this team. Also, trying to plug in that guard position, different types of things. You're also getting some second team offensive line reps, just trying to see what you have there. So it's a lot of moving pieces. And like I said, for offenses, it's going to take longer to catch on than a defense because you can't just come out flying around, play man coverage. I got him wherever he runs, I run. It's different. We got to run the route concepts. We got to understand timing, precision, chemistry, and the biggest thing on top of it all, stacking it. You can do it one time, but you got to execute it over and over again, even when the defense knows that you're going to do it. I did not see that from this offense today, and also some pre-snap penalties, something we got to watch because, yes, that comes down to the discipline of the players, but coaching. Understanding that, and I saw those guys, a couple of guys running after practice, but I think this is something that is getting emphasized in meetings, getting emphasized after practice in these guys' ears. We can't have it. Like I said, it comes back to coaching when we look at some of the things like that. But for the players, still got to be disciplined. Now, a slight messy weather day. It wasn't too bad, just some light rain, something that I noted down as well. But I don't think it played too big of a factor into what actually happened. I don't think it caused the offense to struggle. I don't think it caused the defense to have the upper hand. Just noting that down, though. Had a little slight rain. And now, This is another thing that I saw because before I got to the Panthers training camp, when we read Panthers Wire or when we read something different, just looking at observations from the sports writers for the Panthers, we all saw Terrace Marshall Jr. is going crazy. DJ Chark, it seemed like every practice before I got there. And coincidentally, before you get there, everything's good until you want to see it. So I always saw on Twitter or any social media every day DJ Chark with that big time connection, the deep pass from Bryce. We saw it, and you saw it. So I was looking for that. I was looking for something deep. Demir Bird, anybody, Jonathan Mingo, anybody. But I saw the inability to consistently spread the ball down the field, and I saw the inability to consistently separate down the field. Now, one thing I will note is DJ Chark, and I think that was either Saturday or yesterday, not sure, but it was a play where DJ Chark did get behind the safety in the corner, and the quarterback missed him. So that's one thing I want to say, but it wasn't as consistent as what I've been seeing on social media. So I charted down the inability to push the ball down the field consistently. And like I said, that goes back to protection, that goes back to the quarterback, and that also goes back to the receiver. So all three levels, inability to get the big time play. Now, another thing was when we talk about the defense, and one of the players I saw on defense, because he had an absolute flash play, I think you guys might have seen this play, but it was a play action play, and it was because they did a lot of different situational drills on Sunday. So it was at their 10, it was about their 5 to 10 yard line, the offense. And then it was a play action. As soon as Bryce Young turned around, I mean, no progressions. You couldn't make your first. You definitely didn't think about making your second read. You know why? Because Derek Brown was in his face as soon as he turned around off the play action. I think he beat right guard K. Mays. So a big time play for Derek Brown, and really seeing that, like I said, talking about this interior, and it kind of gets hyped up because I think there's some pretty good players already. Having Derek Brown, he's a stud. I think he's proved that to this point. Shy Tuttle, he's a pretty solid player. And then you got Marquand McCall, who can be that rotational piece, along with some other guys who can kick into a 3-tech. So it's a solid thing that you have working on the interior. Also, just quick shouting out Justin Houston, another piece. Like I said, this is not the Justin Houston we saw on the Chiefs or maybe even the Colts, but still a nice veteran presence on the edge. So I did want to talk about that move right there real quick. And another thing, some holding calls. And really, I think that with the pads coming on, we saw a whole lot more physicality. And when it was physicality, it was flying around. It was defense. And like I said in Saturday's video, I said, when you get more physical, now you get the edge, because as a defender, you want to be the guy who's the aggressor. And as the offense, I don't think they could have matched, or that they did match up to this point, the aggression of the defense in practice. So defense right now, you have to be feeling good. As Giro Evero implementing some different calls. And like I said, I think really Saturday, because I saw a lot of zone coverage on Friday, but Saturday going into really Sunday, I saw a lot of man coverage. And that's when the receiving corps struggled. And you kind of got to worry, because you look at your division, you're going to be playing man coverage. And I think that's something that you have to work on, how to separate against man coverage. And like I said, not the best receiving corps. So you wonder, will a weapon be in the works, different things? You made a move, got Justin Houston. So you see that the GM is working, that the owners are looking at different avenues. So I think that that's important. It's something that we have to note, because it is noteworthy. Now, Brian Burns, like I said, with the holding call, he was the culprit of one of those, got held on a would-be sack. So that's something I wrote down. In situational offense, I talked about them being backed into the end zone. I think that that's a good situation to be in and really practice, because we know these punters. I mean, Johnny Hecker, the punters in the NFL are crazy at this point. I think there's a lot of good ones. And if you don't have a good punter, you're really at a disadvantage in today's league, because offenses and everything that's going on, you got to be able to punt the football, and you got to have those gunners and everybody on the punt team. Now, I saw a lot of different situations. Like I said, we know we have the red zone. We know we got some different things, and really going into Saturday, had a 2-minute drill, and I think you also had a Hail Mary drill, a last play type drill. So some of the different things of which I saw. Now, one of the great offensive plays, and you see that this is different. because as I talked about my notes on Friday, as I talked about them even going into Saturday, it was a lot of offensive notes and there was a lot of glowing notes talking about these guys. But now we see the shift. And like I said, we're going to talk about this a little later, but you wonder, do you want to bash those guys or do you want to say, we can understand? I think it's a real even point when talking about how bad or sloppy the offense was today. Now, I did chart down a great play to DJ Chark across the middle from Bryce Young. So some of the things we saw, but really uncharacteristic day from him. Now, the last two notes that I had, Frankie Louvu had a big time play in the red zone. Frankie, one of the players I already talked about before I really started covering this team. And then the last thing, it's not even a note. The defense was flying around. They were excited. They were cheering. They were yelling, chanting, everything you could possibly think in the book, jumping up and down. I mean, Dante Jackson and Brian Burns doing custom handshakes. It was everything, and the energy was really brought. The energy was really there when we talk about what happened today. Now, like I said, we want to wrap this up and bring it back into the point, because what does this truly mean? And I think that you're not going to like this answer, but I think it means nothing, because from what I've heard and what I've saw, the highs have been extremely high for Bryce Young, for the receiving core, especially DJ Chark and Terrace Marshall Jr. But when I got there, and like I said, I was only there for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I did not see those highs. And like I said, Friday was pretty good. And for my first time seeing Bryce Young, I thought he was borderline great for a rookie. And then to hear that was not even close to his best day. So kind of a shell shock there. That's why I say I was really stunned with the analysis of that day. But he looked good that day. And then Saturday came. And then Sunday came. And then we see the shift. So like I said, he is a rookie. And, it's a certain extent to that. The receiving core has some things to figure out. Like I said, you don't know if you're adding a player in there. You don't know if you're just working with these guys and working on different route concepts to get open, to create the big plays down the field. And really, with Thomas Brown, I think with that West Coast influence, I don't know if this is going to be a big play offense. And understand what I mean by big play. It's not going to be schemed up for the big play. Thinking about how we're going to get guys into yards after the catch situation, because it's kind of that, how the West Coast is. We do different things. We use some motions here and there, and I saw a lot of motion in practice. So seeing some of the things there that I think that Jonathan Mingo can get him in yards after the catch, really did not see big time days from him in really any 3 of the days. So a lot of people are asking about Jonathan Mingo and what have I saw. I saw some big time catches, but not really stacking plays on top of plays. So like I said, a very good player, showed me why he was the high draft pick, but I have to see that consistency. And I think that's even with Bryce Young. That's with a rookie, you want to show the flashes early. You want to show why you have the talent. You want to show why you're there. But it's harder to think about being consistent day in and day out, making the uneasy look easy consistently. And I think that's the next step for those guys. And I think that's what they're working on. Now, defense flying around, will this translate? And I think that when I talk about this defense, when I look at this defense, it is a good defense talent-wise. They have a great defensive coordinator. Remember, the Broncos, even in that tumultuous season, had a very elite defense. And I won't say good, I will say elite, because those pieces and how he put it together were elite. Now, like I said, ran a lot of man coverage in those last 2 days, but looking at him, we're going to see a lot of quarters out of the Carolina Panthers. And now, a lot of the things that I want to see and that I want to talk about will come with the joint practices. Now, unfortunately, because I am a college student, I have to get ready for school, but I will be looking and trying to find any information and news that I can find about those joint practices, because you want to see, does the offense continue to struggle against the New York Jets? Does the defense continue to shine against the New York Jets? So those are some big storylines. And really, I think this week, because starting joint practices on Wednesday, we're going to get into a series talking about 5 players to watch in joint practices, and then probably 5 players to watch in the preseason. So that's something to stay on the lookout for. But like I said, we have to think about that, because it's truly big. It's truly big. Like I said, I did not see those highs. So when I talk about this and I'm coming from it, I kind of would say that I am a tad bit worried, because not only was it from a play call standpoint, from an execution standpoint, it was not crisp. But also adding to that, some of the mental things, like I said, going into the pre-snap penalties. But then you got to say, if this defense is really that good, if they're playing that good, will the offense really succeed as much against that defense? So I think that's a great question to ask. Now, understand you're going against the defense who knows who will have the better statistical defense, but I think it's safe to say, as far as talent, Quentin Williams, C.J. Mosley's of the world, Sauce Gardner's, all of those players there, I think it's safe to say they are a more talented defense. So if you go out there killing that defense, and understand, being a former athlete, I could understand. With the Panthers, they're going against each other every day. So maybe it's kind of that fatigue in that aspect, as far as we're seeing you every day. We know it's coming. We know it's Zero Evero. This is your man install day. The offensive coordinator knows this is your man install day. So sometimes we can kind of say they're throwing plays at the fan and seeing what sticks, because if I understand my defensive coordinator is running his defensive man coverage install day, I'm going to give up my best route concepts that I want to work into seeing how does it look against man coverage. That's not even to say this is my best play call against man coverage. This is not my bread and butter play call, but I'm calling it to see if it works, because when we get into a situation and we got to beat man, I'm going to know we tried to run that on his man install day and it did not work. So we're not doing that in real game time action. Some of the things we got to look at. So overall, like I said, I feel very good about it, but it kind of was a roller coaster, because if you guys watch my video for Friday, and you can go back and watch that after this video, I was very high on the offense for that day. And talking about how those guys flashed and how they flew around in Blackshear. Now, Blackshear, one of the guys sticking with it. I'm still seeing him have good days after Friday. Now, Iku Luoda did not see the same day that I saw Friday on Saturday and Sunday. But just one thing I want to know, because I do think he has the flashes. So I can tell you, when I come out with this preseason video, he's going to be one of the guys on the list, because I've seen a lot of edge rushers and I kind of know what to look for at this point. Like I said, we're not really, I think as far as edge setters, they feel kind of good in that aspect. Kobe Jones, Harry Anderson, Brian Burns getting better in that aspect. And like I said, one thing that I tweeted out today had some one-on-one coaching. When others were doing individuals, he had some one-on-one coaching, but it looked like he was preparing to cover a tight end. So I don't know what the install on that is, but I think he's athletic enough to do so if it came down to it. So really some of the good things. And I want you guys to let me know what you think about this recap. What do you think about what I said as far as the roller coaster, and how does the coaching play into this? Am I throwing play calls against you to see what can stick and what I need to throw out of my playbook? Or is this really just an offense struggling? Is this really just a receiving core that can't separate down the field? Is this really an offense that struggles to score when in the red zone? We see some forced throws, we see some missed throws, some throws high, some misreads, a lot of different things. Anything you think could go wrong with the offense has been going wrong. And like I said, it sucks and it's tough, because you say that everything I heard has been good, but I saw it with my own two eyes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think that personally, I haven't seen the highs of the highs. So if any of you guys, any of you Panthers fans in the comments, if you saw those days, let me know what you think. And where's the middle ground in that? Assessing the highs of the highs compared to the lows of the lows. Where is the middle ground, and how do you think that this team really will be? What do you think is the more true side of this team? And like I said, you may not be able to fully answer that. So that's why we have the joint practices. Really excited for joint practices. And like I said, we cover all teams around the league. But being a South Carolina guy, you know I had to get out to the Carolina Panthers. You know I had to talk about this state's team and some big things going on. Really, I think that it's a different era in Carolina. I think that with Bryce Young coming back, it's a lot of things that have been missed as far as Carolina. I'm South Carolina, and understand the Carolina Panthers are North Carolina, but it's a lot of things that have been missed in Carolina in general, because football has not been football truly. Now, I understand when I say that, I mean that you're going into the season and you kind of understand with Sam Darnold, with a Baker Mayfield, with that quarterback core, and with how things have been post Cam Newton, I think that now you have some real reasons for optimism, but it's still a roller coaster. It's still early. They're still getting the lumps out. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Thank you for watching. We're 19 minutes into this as I'm currently recording. But that's going to do it for today. And now, we out.